everybody, and hello, humans. This is Not a Robot's DC Comic Review Show, focusing completely on future state and related comics for the duration of the event. This week, we are covering the second issues of Superman, Wonder Woman, Robin Eternal, Kara Zor-El Superwoman, Teen Titans, Green Lantern, and Justice League, and the third issue of Dark Detective. My name is Josh, and as always, helping me bring this podcast to you are my two awesome co-hosts, Jared.
Nano.
And Reed.
What up, homies?
We summarize, analyze, and editorialize every issue we cover and strive to keep it all about the content with no publisher influence. We are on Twitter at Not a Robot Show. Reed is at PGH_Reed, and Jared is at HoneyBadger_Bot. We all answer show mail sent to notarobotpodcasts at gmail.com, so send us some on in. And the next part is dedicated to those who support us with their hard-earned money, but that's not the only way that you can. Like, subscribe, download, and share our episodes as much as possible. It helps to get the word out, and that's the best kind of advertising. And now is that time that we say a big, huge thank you to the humans that help us support the podcast. They subscribe to our Patreon with tiers starting at just $1 a month so that we can make sure we keep bringing you more and better content. This is the Not a Robot Anti-Beatbot Must Be a Human shout out and roll call, and that shout out goes to our humans Weird Science Jim, Blue Mondays, Hollister, Torpedo Face, and Roch Crockett. A big salute to you and an even bigger thank you. So what are you waiting for? Sign up and show us you just might be a human after all and get a shout out on the Not a Robot Anti-Beatbot Must Be a Human roll call. Alright guys, it is time to dive right into the comic books. Our first book is going to be the second issue of Future State Superman Wonder Woman, written by Dan Waters with art by Leila DeLuca and Nick Filardi and Tom Napolitano on those letters. Reed, how does Superman Wonder Woman wrap up?
Oh, I like that Superwoman Wonder Man. Now that's a book idea. Call me, DC.
Well, that would have to be Marvel too.
Well,
but yeah,
it's fine.
It wouldn't be the first time there was a crossover.
See, there's two like Marvel men or something like that. Anyhow, in this one, we got Superman. We got a Wonder Woman. Not the ones that you are used to seeing because we're doing future state business. This one is John Kent and Yara Flor. So last we saw John was passed out because he got them red sun rays. Now he wakes up. He's in the Fortress of Solitude. There's alarms going off. Everything's crazy. He's like drunk on red sun energy or whatever. He's got a real wicked red hangover. And he stumbles into the trophy room. Yeah, he stumbles in the trophy room and he sees Wonder Woman chasing a flaming headless mule about. Which, I mean, he's a superhero, so he sees wild stuff. But this is probably a new one for him.
I think it was a new one for everybody.
So they got these problems. So Wonder Woman, she's got a sun god who's got his pride and he's got his dander all up. So he needs to do like a cosmic space race to make himself and feel better, massage his ego. Superman, he's got this sentient sun robot that fires like deathly laser beams specifically for him. Mm-hmm. So they decide to do what any sitcom comedy duo does. You do swapsies.
Swapsies.
You do a flipperoo. Yeah. You switch them up.
Oh my God, it's Freaky Friday.
By the way, DC, CW, Wonder Woman, Superman, sitcom. Call me. I got spec scripts. I got them all day, baby. Listen.
Sweet.
Yeah, give me 5 minutes. Yeah. I got a Seinfeld one. We got them all. We're gonna piggyback off of this WandaVision thing. We're gonna do a whole ass thing of that.
Yep.
So anyhow,
it'll be better than Berlanti.
Yeah.
John walks into the bar of the Fortress of Solitude. John, like Norm off of Cheers.
There you
Absolutely, the whole gang's there. Detective Chimp behind the bar. So,
yes,
this one, unfortunately, we got it. So we're gonna do the swap. Not unfortunately, we're gonna do the swap. So John is gonna do this space race. He's feeling a little down, so he's got to ride this, space fiery horse. I don't know. It's a mule. It's pretty fun. So he's got to do some myth stuff, and Flora uses John's laser. He's got this laser, guys. It's an organic RPG that he uses to shoot a black hole every day in his bathroom so that it keeps a tiny race of bug people from falling into the black hole.
Yep. Buy this issue just for the organic RPG launcher. Do it because it's cool as hell.
It's well worth your money, that's for sure. There's lots of fun ideas going on here. Future State has no shortage of original ideas. So, Wonder Woman. So basically what you got to do, the thing is we're doing this myth stuff again, where the Solaris wants a test of strength, and Kuat, the sun god, wants a test of cleverness. So when they swap, their expectations are different. So instead of using brute strength against Solaris, Yara uses her cleverness and shoots this space laser at it, and it basically makes him barf blue sun and then turns off his anti-Superman power.
He burns hotter, so when a star gets closer to its death, it goes from red to blue.
There you go. Yeah, so she fed him so much that he was going to die, so he had to go away and kind of work it off. And when that happens,
like
Superman was obviously able. Yes, exactly. It's like it's Thanksgiving. He's too full. He has to go slink off into a galaxy far, far away to he's got some digestive stuff to take care of. It's very personal. Superman wins the race because duh. And then everything's like chill. This one for me, it was a really fun. I think it had like a good heart to it. This is kind of what I want to see out of these little mini arcs. It's nice, it's clean, it's quick. It starts and it ends.
Right.
And this
good, tidy little stories.
Yes, and it had this mythic quality which lends with the new Wonder Woman and all her new pantheon. I feel like it's great. This is a super solid book, 8 out of 10.
Jared, what did you think about it?
With John Kent, Yarl Floor, I definitely want some more. I love both new iterations of our common heroes, Superman and Wonder Woman, that we grew up with and we know so intimately. Be able to see the next generations of those that are able to wear the mantle is awesome.
Couldn't agree more.
The attention to detail by the writing staff is just incredible. Every day him going in there to shoot the black hole gun to save planet Sir Kalen,
something like that.
Yeah, I've never heard of it, but you know what? They sold me on it. The fact that they're able to give so much detail for something that might not go
anyway.
on.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I love that. I love the combo of John and Yara.
Although it seems a little strained at times as they learn how to work together, I enjoy the idea of these two as a team far more than I have with their namesakes in recent years. That said, I feel as though the quality dipped a bit in this issue, illustration-wise. Nothing horrible, really, but we could have and have seen much better in this title. So, no, I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10. Now, that's one look into the future with problems and solutions. The third Robin has some troubles ahead of him, too. Will those be solved? Megan Fitzmartin brings us to the next story with art from Eddie Barrows, Eber Friera, and Adriano Lucas, with lettering done by Pat Brazeau. I'm talking about Robin Eternal Part 2. Jared, take us through it.
I want to start off by saying that there are Irvin Rodriguez and Emmanuel Lupacino. Great job on the cover. EA, LucasArts, or any video game companies would be honored to be able to have that much skill and detail on their covers of their games, because it's exactly what it felt like to me.
Well, quit telling them that before they leave the industry.
They put some time in those neck muscles. You guys see those neck muscles on that
I
cover?
know, it's crazy, man. It's great. Really good cover.
More money for them. Hey, if they're that good of artists, I want them to be able to work multiple facets. It starts with Tim Spoiler and Darcy trying to get Tim onto the magistrate convoy that's full of Lazarus Pit resin, which is still a mouthful. Having Tim make his resurrection due to Lazarus Pit resin, because at the end of the last issue, I believe that his neck was broken.
Yep.
Trying not to think about how Jason reacted when he ended up being resurrected by the Lazarus Pit. And if we remember, and it's been a while now, but Jason's attitude, his personality, all went darker. Now, granted, yes, he did get beat to death with a crowbar. That would end up turning your smile upside down.
Just a little bit.
Well, the resin ends up having a very unique quality. See, Tim, the man who out-Batman Batman, I don't want to forget that. That's the reason why he's one of my favorites. But he starts tripping hard balls. A bad trip.
Yeah, real bad.
everybody that's in his life ends up talking trash to him. He's talking down about him, and it's getting really bad. And he's feeling every negative emotion that he can. And the next panel, you find out Darcy just found out emotions are bad when it comes to being exposed to this resin because it is fatal. Too happy, I guess? Too sad? I don't know. They didn't go that much detail. That's utterly frightening. Moment of happiness afterwards after you get resurrected. I'm happy my neck ain't broken. Oh no, now I'm bad.
That's funny.
So, what are we going to do with this convoy full of Lazarus Pit resin? I'm just going to call it resin because I'm going to get winded.
Go ahead, man.
They're going to dump it. They're going to dump it into Gotham's water supply because that's what Gotham needs. You know, nothing's wrong there. Go ahead. It's fine. Nothing bad will ever come out of it. That's good God almighty. Guys, Gotham doesn't have enough problems as it is.
Can you imagine if that stuff got soaked up by, say, Killer Croc?
Nice. I was thinking a future batch of supervillains for when this... Because if this is future state, it's a possibility, correct?
Right.
That's what the future state... Yeah. So if this ends up going... Wait, future supervillains? I know not to let my daughter swim in Gotham River.
Ain't that the truth?
That's probably a wise decision, resin or no.
Right.
We ain't going to Gotham, don't worry. Well, as if the trip wasn't bad enough by seeing, his teammates and friends there. He sees his father figure, Batman. The Bruce Wayne Batman, not the future state Batman, just for clarification. Just in case you picked up, he's just starting at future state. And Peacekeeper 13 comes up and starts trash-talking Tim. Pissing off a member of the Bat family. That's been a bad idea since 1975 when that anthology series came out for 3 years. That was the first issue named The Bat Family.
I did not know that.
And they did my homework for the humans out there.
There you go. I know they appreciate it.
Well, the Peacekeeper, after mocking him, tries to make him a job offer, saying, "Hey, why don't you? Your skills impressive. Why don't you come work for the Magistrate?" As if he didn't know that that's Tim Drake, member of the Bat family. Yes, it's like a Princess Bride. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Right?
That's the one.
Tim shows why he's one of my favorites, and he breaks through the hallucination and realizes that the Batman, the person that he's seeing as Batman, is not Batman. In the panels that he's in now, throughout prior, it was just a straight up hallucination. Now he's seeing his hallucination on somebody, and that somebody was Peacekeeper 13. And Tim is the man. He buckle up, knuckle ups, and knocks 13 out cold. Love it. The art is constant. I enjoyed it. I want more. Tim Drake is by far my favorite Robin. I give this 8.5 Peacekeeper knockouts out of 10.
Reed, where were you at with it?
I had a decent time with this book. I'm not the biggest, Robin fan. I kind of get them all confused, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, so offended.
Offended. But this was pretty fun. I like the idea of Robin Eternal. That idea kind of got me excited. The idea of what if now that Robin he's come back to life, he's had that goo in it, and it kind of looks like at the end of this book that he's dying again. I wonder if he's just gonna keep dying and coming back to life because of this Lazarus goo. I don't know if that's the direction they're taking, but I think that would be pretty fun. But
I'd be down with it. That's like Kenny mixed with the Immortal Man.
See, there you go.
Oh my God, you killed Robin.
Yeah, all the time, again and again. I mean, everybody. Look, that's such a tropey plot point at this point. They killed Robin. Just why don't we just make it into the character? It's perfect. It's easy. But this iteration, it kind of dragged for me a little bit in the middle. I like the concept. I like the the costume and the character design. But this one just didn't really sing for me. I'm gonna give this one a 6.75 out of 10.
All right. Now, like Jared, I'm a Tim Drake fan too. For the longest time, he was my pick for a Robin to wear the cowl. In Future State, that's not the case. None of the Robins do, but that's okay. It's a totally different title. I think we got some really good Tim Drake here, handled better as a character than he has been over the course of the last year, or dare I say, for darn near a decade. I wish there was a conclusion to this story rather than just a cliffhanger, and I would buy additional issues to find out the rest of this story. That said, I don't think that's happening, and to end it without a real conclusion bums me out, so I can only give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Like in Robin Eternal, the next title left us with a bit of a cliffhanger. Hopefully this one will come to a satisfying conclusion, right? With a cover from Paulina Ganesho and Marguerite Bennett writing with Marguerite Sauvage on art, and Wes Abbas bringing us that lettering, let's fly up, up, and away to the moon with Future State Kara Zor-El's Superwoman number 2. We start up right where we left off in issue number 1 with Lenari and Superwoman against Lenari's people, there to take the Starfall Jewel away from her. Her family holds deep grudges against Lenari because her father killed himself to save her, and they blame her for that. After Lenari's family pushes and pushes, Superwoman can't take any more. She unleashes her anger, and then they release Lenari. Lenari, however, doesn't want to just pause the fight, she wants to finish it. She takes Superwoman's powers from her because she doesn't want Superwoman to fall into the anger she worked so hard to overcome. So Lenari takes the stolen powers and uses them to burn up the Starfall Jewel, fighting her aunt. In the end, her aunt falls, and they learn to live together in search of harmony and peace. Superwoman eventually dies, and it's her lessons, not her mantle, that carries on her legacy. This story really hit all the right notes for Kara for me, as far as a Kara story goes. That said, while the last issue was incredibly stunning, I really loved it. This one, by the same artist, it just seems like a little bit of a lesser quality. So much so that the little bit of action that we got was hard to follow in certain areas. And because of this, it was a little, not sloppy, but maybe rushed in some places. I still enjoyed it, but if the final product would have been the same quality as the last book, this score would have been a lot higher. This one was in my top 3 the last time I reviewed it. That's not the case this time. I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. Reed, did you like this one?
Yeah, you know what? I enjoyed this one quite a bit. I'll agree with you that the art isn't quite with it in the first half of this book, and I feel as though that might just be down to an artist's preference, because the second half of this story, it looks great. I mean, there's all these people, there's all this lush vegetation, it's very colorful and bold. It just seems like the fight scenes and the action are where this the art kind of struggles. But that being said, I enjoy this story. I like the idea of these space eels having like a blood feud over a magic MacGuffin. I don't really understand the rules of all that, but I mean, I'm into it. I thought the ending was very nice, and it sent like a really cool message.
Yeah.
I like this world. I like this moon-based world of Kara Zor-El, and I for sure love her design. Her character design in this is off the charts. This is a nice, real relaxing read. Yeah, it's really just like kind of a gentle, relaxing, like kind of walk through of this nice story. And I think in the future, if they get a chance to flesh this out, the strength of it will lie in where the artist and, you know, kind of where the story is focused. And it's on those interpersonal relationships and that kind of world building as opposed to action scenes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know, Jared, I know that you didn't like the last one. How did you feel about Superwoman number 2?
Well, I want to start with saying I'm a Kara Zor-El fan.
Mm-hmm.
But DC has been doing her dirty for a while now. And in Future State, they put her on the freaking moon. Hey, you don't get to be involved in anything we're doing here. Bye-bye. Rushed? Yes, rushed. It felt like you wait till the Friday before a term paper's due to turn it in when the teacher gave you the full semester to get it done. And that doesn't end up going well. The ink, I don't know. But if it's pastel, it feels Eastery. I know I'm not target demographic, and I'm sure that they enjoy it, but
I mean, I like the art style. I just feel like it's slouched a bit this time. You know, I mean, I get it. You don't like the lighter pastel colors and whatnot, and it's just not for you, and that's justifiable. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. It's, you know, I feel like it's even lesser than it was last time. I liked last time. It's just a little bit less because of those action scenes for me.
Yeah, it's like when you take the test. It's when it tells you how good you are at learning the material. The action scenes are tells you how good you actually are at being the artist, because you got to make it look great while they're doing something, and it's failure to do that's the reason why I can only give this 5.75 Daughters of Zorels out of 10.
Well, that's fair. None of us knew what to expect with the comic moving Superwoman to the moon. It was a bit of a mystery. The premise of the next title was a bit of a mystery as well. Written by Tim Sheridan with art by Rafa Sandoval, Julio Ferreira, and Alejandro Sanchez, and letters from Rob Lee, with the cover from Sandoval and Sanchez. Read what's up in Teen Titans.
Well, okay. So a lot of different story arcs have kind of referenced this big disaster that took place on Titan's Island that kind of forever changed, you know, the way that particular that universe worked.
Right. Which is a pretty big universe.
Yeah, there's lots going on here, and we get kind of a little peek behind the curtain. We don't get all the answers, but we get kind of some of what's going on. And it has to do with a modified H-dial, a strange device that calls on the power of something called the Heroverse to kind of give powers, and there's all different kind of codes you can type in. If you've never heard of this, do a quick Google about the H-dial. It's pretty fun and a kind of a wacky concept. So anyhow, the Teen Titans, or I don't know if they're Teen Titans, but the Titans in the tower, they're doing a seance, you know, as you do, and they've modified the H-dial to try to contact dead, you know, folks that they know. It doesn't go as planned, because instead of contacting their friends, they accidentally kind of oops-a-doops and may have started the apocalypse and released their 4 riders.
Yeah. By the way, like I recognize Wally. We knew was going to be famine. We remember that from a previous comic. We know that other one is Ares, the god of war. He's one of them.
Yep.
Unfortunately, our boy Roundhouse made it to being one of the 4 horsemen. I don't have the slightest idea who the last dude is, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
You know, and so Roundhouse, I'm guessing, is pestilence because they said he does a barf. I guess.
I guess.
And then some weird morph creature is death. I don't know. I thought you guys might know what that thing was.
Nope. I tried to figure it out, and I have no idea.
Well, hey, out there, hit us up if you know what that crazy creature was. Yeah, so eventually they kind of we do a couple of flashbacks. You see all these Titans are dead, and Dick is very upset, and he's starting to morph into his new alter ego, Deathwing, or Dickster, which is, you know, Beast Boy's contribution, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty cool. Dick stroke.
Yeah, they didn't say the whole thing.
No, they didn't say the whole thing in there, but we know what it meant.
We know where you guys are going for, and we love
it's
it.
Inferred.
Yes, thank you, Side Beast. You are beautiful and amazing. So anyhow, it's the end of the world. So obviously, the only thing there is to do is have one last final gambit, and they're trying to lure the riders into the same place, and then I guess the plan was also to have them morph into their Mighty Morphin style, where they all fuse into one big beast. I don't know. I maybe I don't know all the lore about the riders, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, but they normally have like a horse or a mount, and I guess they smush together now. So anyhow, they smush together, and then this is all part of the plan, and Raven sucks them up into her own bod, and then Shazam takes her to the Rock of Eternity, which then he talks about how he'll have to defend for all time because the riders. So this is that big dark secret thing that is in the Rock of Eternity that in the Shazam comic makes him split into 2 people to tie Billy to the gates or whatever. So that's pretty cool. I dig that. I think it was a kind of satisfying conclusion to like this weird narrative of the first 2 stories so far. I like that they interacted with another future state title. I thought that was actually pretty fun. but I would have liked these events to kind of play out in real time and not be in this weird teaser kind of thing that we've got going on with Future State.
Yeah.
I think the character design is really cool. Deathwing is cool, and I know I might be alone in this one, but I think Side Beast is pretty dope.
I don't have a problem with Side Beast. I mean, I don't know why they did it, but it's interesting to me. It would be interesting to see more, like what led to it, and some more character development with it.
I wish they would have. Because they're just dropping these ideas on us without having earned them.
Yeah,
because right now they're like, "Is this idea cool?" And like, "Okay, Side Beast, yeah, I like that. That's cool. How did he get like that?" They're like, "We're working on it.
Yeah,
don't sweat it."
Without it fleshed out, it feels a little too Teen Titans Go for me.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I mean, so that doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad thing, though. It could, just because it's a cartoony idea, it's only a cartoony idea because we haven't seen it fleshed out yet. It could be a hell of a story. Hopefully, we'll get to see it. Actually,
and maybe,
we will.
Oh. Okay, well, that's kind of exciting. This one didn't really get me there. I was kind of confused. There's a lot of kind of stuff going on that I was having a hard time tracking. It just didn't grab me. It didn't pull me in all that much. But this is solid. I'm giving this one a 6.75 out of 10.
6.75 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jared, what did you think?
I am utterly disappointed that I did not think of. I thought of Dick Wing, but not Dick Stroke.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I thought the same thing.
I didn't put. I don't.
That's why they're
I'm
making the
ashamed
big
of
bucks,
myself.
boys. That's why they're making the big bucks.
Ain't that the truth?
That's the one contribution from Future State that Side Beast has done for me. And you know what? You know damn well that was not Cyborg. Vic had nothing to do with that. That was 100% Beast Boy.
That's okay. I like both of them.
I like that they have two different speech bubbles. I think that's neat.
Yeah. Well, they still access both the things, but they don't get to be fully involved. I guess that's the way to use both characters, and keep the licensing or something. I have no idea. It's not working for me, DC. But 2 out of 3 humans on the show say that they're for it. The art's a definite win. Great play back and forth, and you get to see motherfucking Raven. Hardcore, yes.
She's going for it,
dude. My inner nerd, it was like a giddy little schoolgirl when I see her on the page. Badass. And what's it called? The H dial. Immediately, when they said that, I started thinking of Dial H for Hero. And I remember the Plastic Man, where the little thing used to make you into a duplicate of Plastic Man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's back in 1966, January 96 in House of Mystery 156 when it debuted.
The Hero Dial has been around for quite some time. It doesn't usually stick around very long, but it's since Bendis's Wonder Comics imprint started, and they had the Dial H for Hero series there. It's been popping up in more and more, and I love those characters, so I'm glad to see that they got brought back. There you go, Bendis. I gave you a compliment.
I can't. I'm going to give the compliment to Robert Reed. He's the person that came up with it in '66.
Okay, there you go.
So I'm going to have to give this fabulous cover to cover amazing story 8.25 Dick Strokes out of 10.
All right.
There
it is. Well, Red X is still a mystery, and I'm actually a fan of that. It will be very, very cool to read about how they all got to this point in the upcoming Teen Titans Academy title that we have coming in March. Oh, it's just next month we get to start reading about all of this, man. So that I am totally stoked for. And like Reed, I am a huge fan of heroes learning and getting together and all of the hijinks that ensue from that. It's great character development. They usually have good stories, man. And I'm hoping we get not quite as dramatic as the X-Men. I hope DC gets, their own little spin on it. Maybe even, I can't believe I'm saying this, but a little lighter than Marvel in that regard.
Let's go lighter, not lighter than Marvel.
I enjoyed the story. The art was amazing. The characters and everything that happened in these pages, I feel like it went by a little too fast. This story needs another issue to flesh it out, make it feel whole to tell this story. But other than that, I had a great time, and I know that it's going to get all fleshed out in the comics leading up to it. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. And that's it for the single stories this week, but when we come back, we will dive into Green Lantern, Justice League, and Dark Detective, all featuring backup stories. Right after this break.
Stick around.
And we're back. Thanks for sticking with Not a Robot. Getting right back to those comic books, we're jumping into the first of 3 multi-part issues with a cover drawn by Clayton Henry and Marcelo Mialo. Next up is Future State Green Lantern number 2. The first story is Last Lanterns, the second part of John Stewart's journey through Future State, with Jeffrey Thorne as the writer, Tom Rainey and Mike Cataya on art, and letters from And World Design. Jared, what happens with John?
Well, I want to start, of course, with the cover. I love the cover, but they lost the easy bonus. Well, I don't know if it'd be easy because I'm not obviously an artist, but the bonus points of like Green Lantern's names being on the tombs, different Green Lanterns, because on the gravestones. Sorry.
Right, I knew what you're saying.
A little more detail, but I think it would sell more. Like, even if you don't do all of them, have it be like written like Charlie Brown's teacher in the background. But see some of the popular ones up front.
Yeah,
You're just facing the wrong way. The names are on the other side.
There you go. That explains it.
Damn you, reading your logic. Well, we get status checks for excuses to be able to get the dialogue to go on for some reason, but the main reason is to be able to showcase some of the art. And you know what? I didn't mind. They could have left the pages blank, and I would have been, all right. He did a thumbs up. That's good. Look at the art. Yeah, I loved it. You get to see who's not with us anymore. Nort and Salak. Nort being a Green Lantern, a Dark Star, a member of the Justice League Antarctica.
Yeah, he's been around
Salak,
quite a bit.
Justice League Antarctica?
Justice League Antarctica. That's goofy as hell, but yeah, it exists.
He first appeared in Justice League International number 10 back in February of '88. Salak. Right?
Salak, yeah.
Well, Salak was the four-armed Green Lantern. Props for the throwbacks. He's from the Green Lantern number 149 way back in February of 1982. That was when he debuted. So I love the fact that they bring in some people that has some history with the people that still be reading the comic. They remember when he debuted, or remember after he's been introduced a couple of times, they remember him. So I liked it. People are fleeing to an ark. Now, maybe Reed or Josh will be able to help me with the guy that's the fan of the God in Red.
I can't remember what his name is. The leader?
Yeah, I don't think he has a name. I think they're just like the Vanguard. It's like
all right, well, I'm glad, because I was like, what the hell?
he's wearing that other robot lantern as armor, which is pretty messed up.
Yeah.
RD-99 or something like that.
Yeah, yep.
Well, I wanted to say gorgeous art in the fight. This is how fight artwork is supposed to be. This is great action. Lots of action. Lots of representation of the progress of the story. You see some development. I didn't really care particularly for the story, just because it didn't really seem like it has any consequences, and I didn't foresee at the time this being able to continue. The fight scenes are great to look at, though. John points out that it's him that made him a lantern, not the ring. The ring's a tool.
Right.
Which I've been saying that
for a long time.
I've been saying that except for Guy Gardner, because he is the tool. Not the tool.
Yeah.
And not the good kind.
Yeah.
Mother Box booms strike team goes where John is. He's being held in some kind of stasis field, dipped in some carbonite. You know, if you just have him in a stasis field, you know someone's going to let him go because, well, it's something that's easily disruptible. You throw an EMP or whatever, bippity boppity boo. Well, John's in the stasis field, and then I see a panel where the bad guy, or, you know, the guy who's got a hard-on for the god in red, looks like he just dropped his shit in his damn drawers. Because, oh, dear God, it's Orion.
Right?
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're a bad guy and Orion shows up, that's the response
dude,
to have.
future state Orion looks badass.
It looks crazy, yeah, for sure. Got flaming shoulder pauldrons. Good look.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like a Havoc.
A bit, yeah. I can get that. It was I didn't see it when I was looking at it, but yeah, Havoc inspired for sure. It's definitely just cool seeing him upgraded without his helmet.
Yeah, I loved it. Well, Orion shows up, and if whoever the hell you are, good, bad, or indifferent, man, metahuman, whatever, if Orion's talking, you're listening. Yes, sir. At least if you're smart. If not, you're toast. Well, he gives testimony, hey, you need to listen to Jon Stewart. And, okay. All right, dude, what's up? You tell me what's going on. John picks up this glove, and the first thing I think of is a Nintendo Power Glove from the 1980s, from, like, was it that The Wizard?
The Wizard.
You know, tried to promote.
Fred Savage.
From the old original NES.
Yeah, I just visited my local comic book shop, and they actually had the full Nintendo Power Glove package for sale, man. All of the accessories and everything. I don't have a Nintendo to play on, but I still wanted to buy it. That was so cool.
It's a solid buy.
Solid buy.
Hey, off air, give me the information, dude. I got a Nintendo. Serious. Well, he puts on the Power Glove, and he gets the Sword of Orion. All right. Now, I ain't arguing. Jon Stewart, physically, one hell of a badass. United States Marine, Green Lantern, badass. If it comes down to, you know, natural ability against natural ability, he's gonna win. At least against his own species. You know, he ain't up there on dark side level or nothing. But I'd love to read like a huge black label version. It's kind of blah for the story on the most part, but the dropping in of Orion and the art for every single page, I'd read it again. If you're gonna go full on, like, you know, a little 6-piece or anything like that for a black label, I'd like to see a little bit more threshed out with the story, but build on that sort of Orion. Don't erase what happened. Just let some huge leaps in progression happen.
Reed, what were your thoughts on Last Lanterns?
I thought it was pretty cool. I like the depowered lantern of it all. I think it's an interesting arc where all the lanterns are concerned. I don't know. There seems to be like a lot of stuff that happened all at once at the very end. This is another thing. I mean, it's just too squished together. There's lots of cool ideas, but none of them really get enough time to breathe. I mean, there's like a very small race of creatures who live on his belt who can also get big, that they have a mother box, but they're like kind of building it, and it's in a weird capsule on his belt. Like there's lots of ideas here, and not a lot of time to flesh any of it out. Lots of slicing, some dice, and some cool purple monsters. But it was just kind of there for me.
All right, though I'm still not a fan of like ground level guerrilla style military comics. There's so much that has to go on, and reading it in a comic book is just not the right kind of medium for me. But this one was so much better than the last one. Last time I didn't feel like anything happened. This one was nothing but nonstop action. Though this is not my style of art. As the issue progressed, I got used to it. It's not my favorite story this week, but again, it was a big improvement over the last installment. And of course, a guest spot from Orion definitely helps this one.
The bad guy's got too much blood.
Too much blood. The next story we're looking at is a one-shot from Teen Lantern. a character invented by Brian Michael Bendis during his Young Justice run, and one of the more popular characters in my opinion. Titled Dead Space, with Josie Campbell writing and art from Andy Tong and Will Quintana, and Dave Sharp on letters. Reed, can you take us through what happens?
Absolutely. So, the Green Lanterns have picked up Teen Lantern. They abducted her to space because she's got this gauntlet. They can't get it off her. No one really knows what it is. So they're like, okay, provisionally, we have to do something with you, but we're not quite sure what. Go chill on this living ass planet until we figure it out.
Mogo.
So, yeah. So they hook him up with Mogo. They put him on his boy, and they kind of send them on a mission. And they have to go through this area of dead space where nothing lives, he says. There's nothing out here, so there's nothing to be worried about. Don't worry. That statement isn't leading anywhere at all.
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody's never seen a movie.
Yeah, she asks if this is kind of like this dead zone is kind of like a Bermuda Triangle thing, just as the lantern battery disconnects. Whatever great catastrophe happens, it happens while they're in this dead space. And Mogo can't move anymore, and he basically goes dark. And Teen Lantern is all alone, just as some sort of weird space creature crash lands on the planet. Towards the very end, the planet is able to tap into her gauntlet to provide a little bit of energy, and she decides that she's not going to be afraid anymore because she wants to be a real lantern, etc., etc. And it's inspirational, and then it's just over. They're still in space, I guess.
Yeah, not much of a conclusion in this one. Yikes.
It's fun. It looks great. I mean, it's a great concept. It seems very interesting. I like the team up of a kid with a robo glove and a planet. But yeah, it's just kind of there. A little bit of filler for you. Yep. Well done, filler, but filler nonetheless.
Agreed. Teen Lantern trapped in space on Green Lantern Mogo. I mean, at least she's got some good company, right? I really like this character. Is that my second compliment to Bendis this episode? This is feeling weird. All right. I do hope that we get to see more of her, and either what led up to this, what happens after, or preferably both. Don't ignore the kid, DC. I liked the art a whole bunch. It was cool. And I really wish there was more story. But for the one shot that we got, this was a fun read. Jared, Dead Space, what did you think?
Well, I liked it. It's fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not completely silly, though. I love seeing Mogo. That's nostalgia. It's got huge potential for showing the kids can be heroes, too. So I kind of like the implied thing. 3 words to DC. Potential. Just keep Bendis' hands off of it. Thanks for creating. Now leave it the fuck alone.
All right. I'm with you there.
But I liked it. It was light, fluffy. It was a fun read. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think Teen Lantern is in good, capable hands with Josie Campbell. And now on to the last story of this issue. You simply cannot have a Green Lantern book without Hal Jordan making sure he shows up. Unfortunately, Kyle Rayner doesn't show up in Future State, and he's in my top 2 Lanterns. Recon, the story we're covering, is written by Robert Venditti with art from Dexter Soy and Alex Sinclair, and those are all 3 some of my favorite creators. Steve Wands did the lettering. Typical Hal Jordan doing what he must. That's what we get here in the last story of Future State Green Lantern. His mission, to find the rest of the Green Lantern Corps. He flies into space with the hope of finding anyone at all, but it doesn't look good. He flies by some members of the Sinestro Corps, breaking their noses as he does. He passes by Warworld, nearly being distracted by the thought of destroying it again, and he finally arrives on Oa, exiting his craft. The place is completely decimated, and the Lantern Battery is tumbled into the ground. Jo Moline, the Green Lantern from the Far Sector book, which you should read if you get a chance, is there, and she's grabbing up Hal by the collar, and she wants to know where he was when the Corps needed him. It says continued in Green Lantern 2021, so we will get to see how this story plays out. That is great news because I am sorely disappointed that we didn't get any Kyle Rayner, and also that we didn't get more of Jessica Cruz, so at least we'll get more of this story. The art is phenomenal, as it always is from Dexter Soy, and the story was a lot of fun too, as good Hal stories tend to be. My final score on the whole issue is going to be a 7.5 out of 10. Jared and Reed, what are your overall thoughts on this last story and the book as a whole?
Well, on this book, on this particular story, I agree with you, Josh. It needs you take the recipe. You had a lot more Kyle. A handful of Jess. You had in there. Keep the excitement continuing. I love Hal playing the savior role. Kyle plays the heart role because he is. He's this. I love Hal Jordan, but Kyle Rayner is this essential or existential Green Lantern. Jessica Cruz, the badass of the Ring Slingers. I'm just saying, if I was to ever piss off the Green Lantern Corps, I'm hoping they don't send her on me.
Not anymore.
That's it. No, let's get a real continuation going. Please don't drop the ball. Don't let us down. Overall, the entire thing, I'm going to give it 7.5 Green Lantern rings out of 10. And the first book with John, art was great, story lacked. And then story was okay, had potential. Art was right along there. And then with Hal, the recon story, I'm going to have to say they did an excellent job on both. I'm glad this one continues. I'm looking forward to it. I'm already wanting to stay in line to be able to get my next copy.
Yes, certainly the quality is there on this one. All of the stories seem to have a little bit more love and dedication. Maybe not dedication's the right word, but some real love and time. Where some of the other books seem a little bit rushed in places. All three stories. I mean, the first book, the art is a little distinctive. But in the second two stories, it's just phenomenal. It's just some knockout-looking stuff. I love the design of the third story with Hal Jordan. And I like that, the quick view. He's like flying through all the different areas. I thought that was pretty neat as well. Overall, this was a pretty good book for me. I think we spent a little bit too much time with Jon Stewart. I like that world. I like their kind of battle stuff, but I think they didn't have enough to do in this last one. But I enjoyed it overall. Overall, I'm going to give the whole thing 7.25.
All right, well, things don't look good for our lanterns in any sense of the word, but they have always been very capable hands. Speaking of capable, the Justice League is who the world turns to when one hero isn't enough. In Future State Justice League number 2, with a cover from Dan Mora, we get the conclusion to Future State Justice League, and the same for Justice League Dark. Written by Joshua Williamson with art from Robson Roca, Daniel Enriquez, and Romulo Fiardo Jr., and letters from Tom Napolitano. Let's see what happens in Future State Justice League number 2. Before I go into the book, I really have to mention how beautiful I thought this cover was. The design is really simple, so to speak, energy bursting from our heroes, but it was done masterfully. Now let's turn the page. Picking up without missing a beat, the Hyper Clan, the villains from the last issue, are still masquerading as our new Justice League members. We're shown them actually being heroes, showing up on late shows, and Batman even rescues a kitten from a tree, which gave me a little laugh. They've completely pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. Most of the Hyper Clan are happy leaving things as they are. They aren't hunted. They have all they want. They're famous, and everyone loves them. Everybody is happy except Protex, their leader. He wants true revenge on the Justice League. The Justice League, the real one, has been transported to the hellish prison that the HyperClan were banished to by the original Justice League. It doesn't take them too long to figure out how to get home. The Flash can feel the Earth's vibrations, every Earth, so he can feel his way home. And apparently he's got a whole lot of speed because he's able to share his speed with the rest of the team and bring them with him. Not before they all get into an argument about not knowing who each other are, though. They could very possibly be a white Martian. So, of course, after some team building via argument, they are back. Just in time, too, as the HyperClan was about to use some sort of mind ray device to revert humans to primitive beings so that they would look up to the Martians as gods. Using what they learned about each other before, they can keep track of who's who now. The good guys win, and they decide to do away with the rules left for them. Instead, it's time to pave the way for new rules and new members. I will keep reading this one for sure. I had fun with it, though I wanted more. There was enough here for a 2-issue story. Will we see more? I hope so. This art is beautiful and the story is great. Reed, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, I think the art is really cool. The story really chugged along. You got white Martians. You've got some. Is it you? Is it me? Who's the bad guy here? Stuff is always fun little antics. The action is great. The design of the heroes is good. The team composition I really like, and the teaser at the end with who we're gonna put on our Justice League I thought was really fun.
For
Um,
sure.
this was kind of what you want out of a future state little mini series thing like this, and it was like the best of them. It was nice and concise, and to the point. It was cool, good visuals, neat story.
Indeed. Jared, where did you fall?
Well, I disagree with Reed in one aspect. It's not exactly what we needed. I need at least, I don't know, 4 to 10 more issues. Great art, great story, great God Almighty. Let's see this. I want more. I just gimme. I want the story to continue where the Hyper Clan stays being good guys and don't end up reverting back ever.
That would be something, wouldn't
Have
it?
that be a potential. And then when next big crisis ends up happening, which, dear God, DC, let it be a ways away from
Let's say about 5 years.
Yeah.
That tends to be the case.
Yeah, it's like an election. It comes by at certain intervals, either 5 or 7. I want to see this develop. I want to read more. Easy, positive notes to end on. Potential.
All right, jumping from that crazy story into the next one, written by Ram V, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite creators, with art from Marcio Takara and Marcelo Mialo, and letters from Rob Lee. We have Reed taking us through the finale of Future State Justice League Dark.
Yeah, so we've got this a magic blasted kind of landscape. Justice League Dark, it's at it again. Everything's topsy-turvy as you do. We start with a little walkthrough for Dr. Fate about how he got the mask, the helmet fixed, and kind of what that cost him. We get a really cool scene where Dr. Fate comes to Etrigan and tells him that Jason Blood is dead, so he's been holding back for nothing, and he really needs to kind of get in the fight. The internal struggle between Detective Chimp and Etrigan is really great, and I think done expertly. And we get a bunch of beautiful splash pages here. We got a Ragman dragon, and we got a Zatanna. There's lots of action. The colors are bold. The scenes are really lush. We get an armored enchantress. We get to see that, and then we get to see Etrigan just really put a whole whooping on her. So that was pretty fun. And then at the end, it turns out Jason Blood's alive, but he's allied with Merlin. And it was we're doing a thing where
I didn't
Dr.
see that
Fate,
coming at all.
Yeah, we're in this moment where he had to like do the thing, and this is the one he looked at all the possible futures, and this isn't one of the ones where they win. But I think that's kind of a misdirect. I think he's working behind the scenes here. Will we find out? Who knows? I don't know. But it's very satisfying.
I do.
Yeah, it's it's a neat Justice League Dark story. I'll say that. I think this is a fun Justice League Dark story, but I don't see the future state of it all. These are all just kind of, I mean, they're a little bit different. They've grown up some, but I just don't. This one doesn't feel all that much different. It's a cool story, and I loved it, but some of the other takes on the source material are much farther afield than this. I mean, because I get Merlin took over, and basically the world is run by Merlin now, and that's kind of future statey. But it's not like everyone kind of is just still them. I mean, Detective Chimp and Etrigan, okay, but I don't know. I was hoping for a little bit more out of this, but as just a standalone Justice League Dark story, I think it's great.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. There's nothing distinctive that shows that this is really in the future. This could be a Justice League Dark story happening at any time.
Yeah, give me old man Constantine in like old lady Zatanna or something. Give me something weird like that.
Oh, you know Constantine ain't gonna survive to be an old man. You read his comic. For the love of God, he's going to die sooner or
There's
later.
infinite futures in this one.
That's true.
the multiverse is open.
Breaking into the infinite frontier. But before we dive into that in March, Jared, where did you fall on this story?
I enjoyed the hell out of it, but I always enjoy Justice League Dark. The art, the story, the flow, the conversation, the interaction between the character, outstanding. I know it seems like I've been bragging on Future State this year, but I believe that majority of the art was phenomenal. And it is quite easily, if this was a standalone comic and it wasn't part of the $5.99 group, it was all by itself, it would been 9.5 off. It was phenomenal. It was damn near perfect to me. I love Justice League Dark, and the only thing missing would be like it'd be great if it did have like an older man Constantine, or made or have young Constantine and have him explain away just one panel that no, I did this deal with Demon, Badaducci, and now I look like this.
Well, I mean, I'm going to have to go with both of you guys. I guess I wasn't really paying attention to it because I was sucked into the story so much. But if I had to say there was really one thing that I would like to see in this, it would be that something that dates the story. But
yes.
From what I understand, this timeline, the story that we're reading now, could be woven into a story that leads up to this, and that sounds absolutely amazing. Sign me up for more. I can't think of anything more positive to say that you guys already haven't said. Just like the last issue, I love the art, and I mean, I love the art. The art is spectacular, and the story, I think, is even better. The characters are done amazing, as usual from MV. This one is simply incredible. For the whole book, I'm going to have to give it this Justice League was a little bit less than the Justice League Dark for me, so I'm going to average this one out and give it an 8.5 out of 10. How did the issue fare with the two of you?
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I think this one is about an 8 out of 10 for me. I really like the Justice League Dark stuff, but the other regular Justice League was cool to see those guys, but it wasn't really... It's just fun. It was just fun for me.
Yeah. And Jared?
Well, I found this is well worth the $5.99. To me, honestly, I would have paid $7.99 for it. Just on the Justice League alone, the Hyper Clan, that's provocative. It has so much endless potential. Like if I was to broke it down, that wasn't as good as the Justice League Dark, because the Justice League Dark I found great.
It was amazing.
Like if someone was to read, hey, I don't know what comic to read. This is definitely one. I had to combine the two. If I combined the two, I got them at 9. That's 9. Batman, kinda saving a kitten out of a tree. Because that was the Hyper Clan Batman. I got a kick out of that part.
I said it earlier. That part gave me a chuckle too. Man, I really liked that last book, the whole thing. I hope the final issue we're about to cover is just as good, with yet another awesome cover from Dan Mora. Let's look at Dark Detective number 3, housing 2 stories inside, Dark Detective and Grifters. Dark Detective was written by Mariko Tamaki with art from Dan Mora and Jordi Belair with Aditya Bidikar on letters. Part 3 goes just like this. It's the kind of story that I want to read about Bruce Wayne. I'm going to say that one more time. This is the kind of story I want to read about Bruce Wayne. It's slow, it's gritty, it's detailed. It is a stare into his mind with nonstop but not overdone narrative, and that is really, really hard to pull off, but it's done so well here. Every single moment pulled me in. Bruce is tracking the nanobots that he discovered in the last issue. He's finding that there appear to be more and more. And as he continues to try to hack them, he's finding that they are upgraded more and more as well. He helps Noah install a beeping megaphone onto the roof of their place before heading back out. After some more legwork and quite a few more tries at breaking into one of the nanodrones, Bruce finally gets in. He's connected to every feed, and he can see how much that they have invaded the city. Every person, every place, inside and out, is under surveillance. This is way, way, way beyond invasion of privacy. Every single room and area in the world is under surveillance as far as the magistrate is concerned within Gotham. Cobbling together some swimming goggles from Noah and tech from some of the magistrate's cybers that he's taken out, Bruce builds some infrared goggles to help him see the drones better. He sees that they are following Noah's daughter, and he follows them too, straight to the magistrate office where she apparently works. Bruce can only assume that the magistrate knows everything, and he hopes that Noah and his daughter aren't in any danger. But are they? Bruce is rooming with a man who suffers from delusions. Is this all really happening, or has Bruce lost his mind? It wouldn't be the first time, and a lot of the illustrations of his face show him clearly emotionally distressed. We've got one more issue, and I cannot wait to see how this wraps up. Every single page was gorgeous. I could look at this all day. Jared, did you like Dark Detective? I think it was obvious I did.
Yes, and up until your point, you said that, now damn it, I'm hoping they don't Bob Newhart this thing and have him wake up from a dream or something.
No, I don't think they're going to Bob Newhart it, but I mean, I'm wondering if he's not just lost his mind. I mean, he's readily helping Noah do all this weird, crazy shit, and he's seeing nanobots. These are things you can't see with the naked eye. So nobody else can see them but Batman. And they're everywhere. I mean, it sounds a little like Bug, that, oh God, don't ever watch that movie. That'll make you paranoid as shit, trust me. But it sounds like
yes,
a very, I mean, could it be the real deal? Absolutely. But could we be looking at a situation where Bruce Wayne has just completely gone ape shit crazy? That is also possible.
When he was shot, is it something that got spread to him or something?
He could just have a bad infection. He's just hallucinating.
I mean, he went to a back alley surgeon, man. That's possible.
I don't know. Bruce Wayne might be a lot of things, but he does have a well-disciplined mind, and he's got a history of being able to, use his mental acuity to be able to defend against people a regular human being ain't gonna be able to, because, well, as Josh was, he's Batman.
Exactly.
But this didn't feel like this is the type of Bruce Batman story that I do like Josh said, but I don't feel like the Batman story. This feels like an old detective comic books. This is how this portion of the Batman mythos is supposed to read. I do agree with that. The magistrate story is getting on my damn nerves. I'm bored. I think they could have came up with, I don't know, having one person be Peacekeeper, okay.
There's just so many Gotham-related titles that, I mean, Reed brought it up. By the time we did the second episode covering Future State, I, too, was also getting a little bit of magistrate fatigue.
Every Gotham story is magistrate story. Like, I wish you could have done a little bit different, but hey, what are you going to say?
Maybe had some stories further into the future, or maybe a little bit earlier. I don't know, something that would have staggered it would have been better.
Bloodhaven. Why not have somebody?
That's true.
Bloodhaven?
We could have had Burnside. We could have had Bloodhaven. There's other places that we could have gone. Reed, how did this one land for you?
I like this storyline. I like Batman. I like him, disarmed and kind of just running around being crazy. I think that adds an interesting layer to that character and kind of makes it okay that he still exists in this world, as it were, where he's just kind of operating as his own ghost. I like that. I like the confrontation. So I think I got this theory. I wonder if this all magistrate stuff is the final extension of the Ghostmaker stuff. If this is his final, he's got the ghost net. It seems very technological. It's very anti-mask, except for the people that are masked. Who knows?
Wow, you've
overall,
got
though,
really interesting
That's
thing.
just a splinter in my mind.
Because Peacekeeper 1 has a major boner for anything related to Batman, new or old. We've seen that in comics established. What if Peacekeeper 1 is... Holy shit, Reed. Oh, my God. Oh.
I don't know if I don't know if Peacekeeper 1 is I don't know if that is him, because I don't think his ego would allow him to take up like a new name. I mean, it's possible. It is possible. But at the same time, it's something to think about as in a kind of extension of what he started and they just took to the extreme. But overall, I think it was a fun story.
All right, then. Time for the last story of the issue and the episode. Written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Carmine Di Giandomenico and Antonio Fabella with letters from And World Design. What kind of trouble has Grifter found himself in this time, Jared?
It's very seldom that Grifter's out of trouble because he's a lovable scamp, that Cool Cash. I have to say I'm definitely a fan of the story. I'm a fan of Grifter. And this right here is another example of how dialogue could naturally end up happening between these three characters.
Uh-huh.
He opens with the Huntress blind the smack down on Grifter because, well, Helena's going to do that. 99% of the time, she's knock you out first, shoot you second,
right?
Tie you up third, and then ask questions.
Right.
And then, regardless of the answer, still most likely shoot you again with a crossbow.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, right? It doesn't matter if it's Helena Wayne, Helena Bertinelli, it doesn't matter. Huntress, that's her motif. Fox chimes in trying to get out of Gotham. The smartest thing ever uttered by any Gotham citizen in the history of freaking ever. Yes, get out of Gotham. Go literally anywhere. Detroit is a safer option.
I don't know about that.
Then Gotham?
I don't know, man.
I don't remember an army of marching little stuffed penguins going down 8 Mile.
Wait 5 years. Wait for future state Detroit.
Dude, that's where Constantine's at. He hands us card over with the untraceable funds, and I just love the fact that everybody's got these debit cards that's untraceable. Nothing's really that untraceable. Especially with...
there's cryptocurrencies.
There's also card. Minds like Mr. Terrific in this world.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, ain't nothing secret. And if the nanobots that Bruce saw is everywhere... Anyways... Tim has Grifter as an escort, which is a very good choice because of Cole.
Luke. Oh my God, Reed, I like you so much right now. It's not even funny. That was awesome. That was perfect Yoda, bro.
Yes, flawless.
I didn't know you did voiceover work.
What you don't know. Many secrets have I.
Fox has Grifter as an escort, and I have to say, Cold Cash making sure I get out of the city. As long as it doesn't have any conflicting interests on him, you know, I think it's a safe bet. He's going to get you out unless it benefits him not to. So make sure that it benefits him to get you out. That's how I'd end up wanting to get out of Gotham. He's a badass. He's a get the job done type guy. Well, as throughout everything in the future state that's got to do with Gotham, the magistrate goons show up. But Helena at least deals with them in a proper way. No talk, no nothing. She sets up a little decoy, putting not her, but a fake mask, cowl, cape, whatever on a mannequin, and blows the building to smithereens.
Gobble.
God bless the Huntress.
Efficient.
You have to appreciate the efficiency.
Yes. Right upon exit, it's like, bam, good to go. With the Huntress at the wheel or I guess, at the handlebars since it's on a motorcycle, and Grifter doing the cover fire. Fox is 100% safe on this bike. You got a badass with reflexes steering and a badass with, well, killing. Hang off the back doing the suppressing fire. They get to a safe house. The Huntress is a little upset because, hey, you just cost me a building and this is a business. Next thing you know, you see Grifter get shocked. Zap, falls to the ground. In a hilarious manner, Vale comes in, pissed because Grifter done jacked her money. I thought that was classic. It just felt very natural, very good for both characters. Cole talks his way out of it because Grifter is a smooth talker.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we'll get you covered. We'll get that. I got money for this. We do this, that. It's like 3-card money. Watch the Queen of Hearts. Well, he knows he can't make up to Luke for what he did to him and his family. Fox is playing the Huntress, giving up her locale to the magistrate, worrying about securing the Queen of Clubs, the Huntress. It's just a dick move by Fox. Cole has a free plan to be able to get out. He can use Selena's sub. He's got the cash from the cards that he palmed and stuff. He could get away, but his conscience is that of a good anti-hero. No, I can't leave her out there to get caught. I gotta go back. And he ends up sacrificing himself to protect her, obviously getting arrested. I want to see more. I want to see them react around each other when it doesn't have the stupid magistrate story. I mean, it's made some compelling things, but it itself is getting old. I'll be glad when the future state is past tense. On some of these, I want to read more. And some of them are out of the park. But I loved it. It's an odd story as hell. But fascinating and a little bit more, yeah. Bring it on.
All right, what would you give the whole issue as a final score, Jared?
Well, overall, the Dark Detective ended up being a little bit better than the Grifter, which aggravated me because I really love Grifter. But I gotta give, it just nudged it. I'm gonna give the Dark Detective number 3 an 8. Damn, Grifter is so freaking awesome. I love him. Out of 10.
All right, Reed, what did you think about Grifter and everything?
Yeah, this one's pretty solid outing. I like the Batman with the beard. I like his new look. I like the Grifter stuff. The Grifter storyline kind of had like I don't know how to put it, like almost like a Tarantino kind of vibe. It was very, not like gritty, but
yes,
it had the pacing, and at the end where it was like, I'm obviously gonna give myself up because I'm tired of being like the jackass all the time. I'm going to try to finally do some good, like go help people. I don't know. It had just like a very crime-esque kind of tilt, and like people in, extraordinary people in like extraordinary situations, and just seeing how they react to them. Huntress and Grifter fighting and punching each other, I thought was really the highlight of this whole book. Overall, this is a knockout. This is just what you're looking for. If you like any of these characters, definitely pick this one up. 7.5 out of 10.
All right, in the very beginning of that Grifter book where Huntress and Grifter are talking, and Huntress says, "You're either a moron or you have a death wish, Cole. Which is it?" And then Grifter thinks in his inner monologue, that dialogue box, to himself, maybe both. And then like right immediately after, Luke Fox answers out loud with the exact same thing. 3 pages in, and I was like, I love the dynamic of these characters. Seeing Batwing turn heel caught me way off guard, but he does try to let Grifter go, so maybe there's a little bit of good guy left in him, but either way, I think Batwing would make a very interesting bad guy too. So for me, it was a crazy story, but man, it was a damn good one. It's so nice to look at. Grifter's going to jail. I feel like there's all kinds of story left to tell about Grifter and Huntress, so I hope this carries over. As far as Dark Detective, man, I couldn't stop raving about that one enough. This whole issue was gorgeous. The stories were great. I'm giving this one, you know what? I gave it a 9 out of 10 on the site, but I'm actually going to bump it up to 9.25.
Great.
Fancy.
And now it's time to pick the top 3 books of the week and your favorite panel / moment of the week. Reed, do you want to take us through that one first?
Absolutely. All right, coming in at number 3, we've got Superman, Wonder Woman. Just a nice, easy read. It was such a delight to just have. There wasn't like 300 plot lines. There weren't 40 characters. There was a couple of goats and mules that were on fire. That's enough for me. Number 2, I think we'll probably go with the Justice League 2. The first story with the White Martians, I was kind of about. The Justice League Dark story was a little bit more compelling. Like I said, I've said about that. I wish it would have more kind of fun business in there as well, future state stuff. But overall,
I wish it was
cool.
longer.
Yeah, I could have used a couple more issues of that. Put that side by side with freaking Batman. Give me 4 of those bees.
Oh, yeah.
And then for number 1, I just really am in love with this Kara Zor-El. Like, the look of it, it's so like non-traditional. It's very deep space, very, like I said before, saga-esque kind of weird space creature stuff. I just love all of that. My favorite moment of the week is in Justice League Dark, where Ragman is a dragon and Zatanna is riding him. So that's my moment.
Oh, man, I completely forgot about that. I am so jealous of your moment, Reed. That's awesome. All right, Jared, where are your top 3?
I want to start first before my 3 with an honorable mention.
Go ahead.
The Green Lantern Season 2, number 11, Morrison.
Oh, yeah. You got to read it. Good stuff?
Oh, it's got one more issue left out of this series, and it's a 12-part. You know what? Story's amazing. Come on, finish strong, boys.
Yep.
Woo!
This is it's actually Grant Morrison's last run through with DC. He's going completely independent after this, from what we understand. That's what he says anyway.
Out with a bang.
All right, what was your top 3?
My top 3 included, at 3, number Teen Titans, number 2.
All right.
At number 2, I have Robin Eternal. I love the way they're going at it. I want to see more. Now, number 1, I'm going to have to get a ruling by the humans. I want to take one of the big stories and divide it. The Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
Okay, like the Justice League altogether gave a 9. That's because the Justice League I gave it 8.5, but the Justice League Dark I gave a 9.5. So if I'm able to dissect that one,
There's precedent.
I choose.
Yep.
Yeah, there's precedent.
There's precedent, for sure.
Then Justice League Dark all the way, boom, out of the damn park. Nearly flawless. Constantine would have been a nice cherry on top, but Etrigan, Detective Chimp. Oh my God! I'm gonna pick it up and read it again.
It's magic, you know.
That's the joke, because it is
Way
magic.
to go.
Because it's like a magic storyline.
Justice League Dark.
Right.
Very funny. Very topical.
It's Bazinga.
And what was your favorite moment, Jared?
My favorite moment comes from not really my favorite book, but when Jon Stewart puts on the glove and raises the Orion sword.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Semper Fi. Yeah, Semper Fidelis. But yes, definitely.
All right, my top 3 at the bottom. Number 3 was really, really hard for me to pick. All of them I wanted to rate just about the same, with the exception of 2. At the end, I had to drop one issue down only because of the art choices. But number 3, after a lot of deliberation, I'm giving that to Teen Titans number 2. Number 2, I'm going to have to give that to Justice League number 2 for the same reasons everybody else loved it. Justice League Dark bumped up that slightly better than average story. Actually, better than average story, not just slightly. Better than average story from the regular new Justice League. Number 1, of course, goes to Dark Detective. That shit was just knocked right out of the park. And that's where my favorite moment is in, too. It wasn't something stellar. It wasn't something breathtaking. It was, in Dark Detective, we get a simple shot of Bruce Wayne in his new getup on this building top. And for some reason, I just loved looking at this, man. It's cool, it's detailed, and against the backdrop there, dude, it's almost pretty in a way. I love this page so much. And now it's time for
The Biggest Thinker.
Oh, that's nasty.
My stink list has this grand total of 1 on it, and sorry, Reed. It's Superwoman Kara Zor-El. Art like a Trapper Keeper. Sorry.
Oh, Lisa Frank. Yeah, I get that.
You're right, man.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I'm just telling you, I'm thinking something you get specific. I
Give
love
me a
it.
Technicolor dolphin any day, baby. Well, for me, I think the stinkiest one, I don't know, none of them were particularly stinky, but if I have to pick, I guess I'll pick Robin Eternal.
Just wasn't feeling that one. Yeah, I mean, when you're not a Robin fan, that one isn't exactly investing for you.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think any of these are real stinkers. I mean, they're just like that's just the most meh-est one. So that's
yeah. And
the meh
honestly, I was going to put Kara Zor-El Superwoman on my stink list because those action scenes bugged me so much. I want to change my rating on that. It doesn't really deserve it. The action scenes brought it down, but the rest of the story is still pretty good. So I'm going to take that back up to a 7. But for my stink list this week, it's going to go to the Jon Stewart story. I'm not a big fan of that kind of story, and that kind of art it really reminded me, and call me wrong, but I mean, didn't it remind you of like the kind of art that you saw on the Bazooka Joe bubblegum?
Oh, no.
I mean, I don't know, it looked so crude to me, and I mean, looking back while we were doing the review, I disliked it even more this time. So
what
yeah,
it reminds me of is like hand published like hand like copied like versions of someone's like.
for sure.
I think they're going for a specific like stylistic choice, but like I don't get why they did.
I'm not sure either, man, and that's why it made my stink list this time.
Stinks ahoy!
And that's the show. Come back and listen next week when we will be talking about Future State, the next Batman #4, and the next issues of Nightwing, Immortal Wonder Woman, Superman Worlds at War, Catwoman, and Shazam. And with those issues, we will only have one more week of Future State before we dive into Infinite Frontier. As always, you amazing humans out there, thank you so very much for listening. You're the reason why we do this. Visit campsite.bio/notarobot to hear all of our episodes on nearly any podcast platform, and patreon.com/notarobotpodcasts for the exclusive content that we make for our patrons from all of our offerings: Kids Corner, Real Talk, movies, TV, and more. Again, starting at just $1 a month. Visit notarobotpodcast.com, and that will take you everywhere you need to go for everything Not a Robot. And with that, there's only one way we say goodbye around here.
Until next time.
Be good to each other.
And don't be a robot.
Just